We're going to go over the Coolidge Bridge in Northampton, Massachusetts. It's actually in the background behind me, at least the entrance into Northampton. And we'll cross and look towards Hadley, and we're going to look at the features of that wonderful bridge. Made in 1939 with a special federal grant. Now, when we're here in this Connecticut River Greenway State Park, I'll tell you what's around. The interstate is right here, and that's important because it's so easy to get to this park with these two bridges and a very long bike path. So keep that in mind. Look at the bike sculpture right down on that post. All right, and then down in the other direction over here, that's where the extension of the bike path is into downtown Northampton. So keep that in mind. You can go both directions now, where in the past you couldn't. And at the end of this parking lot, there's two things to watch out for. There's the Connecticut River Bridge, where you can go over the bike path, walking or on your bike. And there's also a little wooden bridge over there. You go down into the river, okay? And you can also get to the river on this point over here, all right? And that's going to be one of my other videos, and check that out. And this is the fifth bridge of this location, so I'm going to tell you about this wonderful Coolidge Bridge, and what do you want to know?
So, who is the bridge named after?
Right. Calvin Coolidge was a president of the United States from 1923 to 1929 for 6 years. He was a Republican, and he tried his hardest to stabilize the economy, but it just didn't work out too good. All right. And now, he also used to be mayor of Northampton, and that's why the bridge is named after him. Okay? So I'm going to walk over that bridge and show you some of the wonderful features along the way. Now, this is a boat launch section for individual kayaks and canoes, but it's also the launch for UMass Amherst crew. And what we're going to do, we're going to go on the sidewalk of the Calvin Coolidge Bridge. This bridge, you can see, has a rise or arc to it. Those metal beams are only so strong, and there's like 3 supports, so the arc helps keep it up. It's one of the things that give it a great strength. Right down there is the boat launch road. Now on either side there used to be sidewalks until about 20 years ago, and they took one out. The reason why, they already had the Connecticut River Railroad Bridge, and they wanted to get 4 lanes instead of 3. Now this plaque here is telling you that the bridge was made in 1939 with a Hayden Cartwright federal grant. And it gives you the President Roosevelt's names and all the engineers that worked on it in Massachusetts. You can see his Art Deco style column that rises up. On both sides are very much the same, and they say the same thing on both entrances. There's a door here that you can actually go down that column to fix the bridge. Across the way, it says Calvin Coolidge Memorial Bridge. It has an enormous plaque of Calvin Coolidge, and it says all the things that he did during his life that were important to make him worthwhile having a bridge named after him. Okay, you can see in the distance there's a railroad bridge. That now is the place where the neurotic rail bed is, when you can go on there They replaced the old bed with a wooden bed, and you can cross on your bike or has a pedestrian. Right, and this is the Connecticut River below us. Now on the other side, you see the Connecticut River, at least a bit of it. We'll get you better views, but in the one mountain range in distance is the Mount Holyoke Range. Okay, you can see mountains up towards the north also, and very sunny in the bridge. Now you get a much better view on the other side finally. That's the Mount Holyoke Range as it spreads out. To the right slightly you can see the Summit House in South Hadley. Alright, and then you see the rest of the range spread out, including Mount Norwottuck near the end, Bear Mountain. Okay, and the Connecticut River with many boats on it. Okay, you can see the railroad bridge in the distance now, with all the buttresses below it. It's a very strong bridge. You can see boats in the river. Right, and that river extends all the way up through Mountain, New Hampshire, of course. Now on the other side of the bridge, you can get a better look at the Summit House in the distance. But you can see Mount Holyoke. You can see the airplanes landing at the airport over there. Then the Seven Sisters are in the middle. Then Bear Mountain. Then Mount Norwottuck. Then East Mountain. Oh, glorious mountains. Now there's a bit of Mount Tom in that opening over there. And between those two mountain ranges, the Connecticut River meanders right through them. Okay, we made it to the halfway point of the Coolidge Bridge. You can see all the logs backing up against that railroad bridge. Right? In the distance, there's two more columns coming up, and they are where Hadley starts. And you can actually get back, if you go to the first road on the left out there, get back onto the street that leads you right into the Norwottuck Rail Trail, which would lead, if you take a left, back to this railroad bridge. So you can do a travel loop around there. Right, and in the distance you get even a better view of the Mount Holyoke Range and the Mount Tom Range. And now finally you can see church steeples. That's downtown Northampton. That's the first Church of Christ in downtown Northampton. All right, so I've shown you a lot today, and there's a lot more on my website, including pictures, a travel map around this loop, an explanation of each one of the features, both bridges and the Greenway State Park. Okay, so thank you for coming along.